As problems and challenges build up in relationships, it can feel hopeless and it can feel exhausting. We're left to wonder why issues never seem to get resolved, no matter how much we try and compromise. It can really feel like you're stuck, silently resenting your partner, or worse, slowly losing the connection that once felt unbreakable. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 ways people approach relationship issues and why only one of them leads to a deeper connection and a long-lasting relationship. So when relationships go through tough times, which they all do, the problem comes is that we kind of go with our gut. We kind of go with the flow in what we think is right in how to approach relationship problems. Sometimes we can be like, oh, I'll just leave this one, or, raising this is it's just not worth upsetting her, or, I just want to avoid an argument. Because there's this general idea that relationship problems are things that are bad, things to avoid. If we have problems, then maybe we're not some perfect soulmate match like we thought we were, right? Or if there's a relationship problem, then maybe she'll see how bad of a match we are and she'll leave me. There's a lot of these things that can run through our minds. The ultimate consequence of this is that we can wake up one day feeling like we're sharing the house with a stranger instead of our partner, with no real path back to intimacy. The truth is, in seeing relationship problems as bad things, we end up approaching them in an ineffective way, and that can lead to the slow death of the relationship. There are 3 approaches to problems in relationships. We either avoid, we accept, or we lean in. Each of these options comes with its own consequences. So I want to break down what each option looks like and how it impacts your relationship. The first one is avoiding problems. This is what we call a slow descent into disconnection. So avoiding problems is the most common, right? It might seem like the easy path, but it's a really dangerous trap. Avoiding means dodging the tough conversations, ignoring warning signs, or pretending that the issues don't exist at all. Whether it's avoiding conflict, uncomfortable topics, or expressing your own true feelings, this tactic leads to a lot deeper problems down the line. So avoiding often involves things like avoiding hurtful situations. This is things like walking away from a situation where you feel triggered, storming out of a conversation because you feel upset. The problem with avoiding any relationship problems is that it actually creates an atmosphere of fragility. If you're always walking away from emotionally challenging conversations or emotionally challenging situations, then you're cultivating an environment where nothing changes and where you don't build the resilience to be able to overcome these challenges. So you're always going to stay in the same situation. So your problems are never going to be resolved. You're telling yourself and your partner that walking away from a problem is the only solution. And this leaves you and your partner in a very weak position because nothing gets solved. And the emotional toil that comes with that is constantly building up. Ultimately, avoiding relationship challenges breaks down what we call intellectual intimacy. Intellectual intimacy is the process and system that you build your relationship on. It's the logic of being able to actually approach and overcome situations. In simply avoiding these problems, this means that you actually break their self-respect and also respect for your partner as well within the relationship, because you're not even addressing that there's a problem in the first place. The result of all of this is that this breeds distance. Problems pile up and both partners drift apart emotionally and intellectually. And this leads to a breakdown in trust, intimacy, and connection. The next approach is to accept problems. And this is a false illusion of peace. So on the surface, accepting problems can feel like the more mature route. After all, relationships require compromise, right? That's what everyone says. But in reality, accepting problems without really seeking change leads to a lot of stagnation. When you accept a problem as just the way things are, you're allowing dysfunction to persist and you're actually sacrificing your own needs in the process. So accepting problems in a relationship can often look like deciding to let things go when really you're just burying your concerns, and this leads to a quiet resentment within yourself. This can also lead to tolerating unhealthy patterns in your partner. So for example, if they have toxic habits like gaslighting or lying, you're allowing this behavior to continue because addressing it seems too hard. You're simply allowing this behavior to continue and you're never addressing it. So accepting means that you're still having conversations about the problems, but you're never taking a path forward. You're just simply settling on, well, we'll just agree to disagree. This is just the way I am. This is just the way you are. Nothing should change. You're simply choosing to not do anything about it. And this means that you can end up tolerating unhealthy patterns within the relationship. But ultimately, this is an illusion of peace because within yourself, you still want to overcome these challenges, but also this breaks trust with your partner because they understand that you still have different opinions, but you're choosing to not raise them. The problem is that simply accepting the status quo actually breaks what we call emotional safety, which is the environment for both partners to be able to express their feelings and ideas and thoughts with no negative consequences. It breaks emotional safety because your partner can see that you still have these opinions, but you're choosing to not raise them. that you're choosing to omit your feelings. And ultimately, this stops them from feeling comfortable in sharing their own. And again, it leads to the slow decline of the relationship. And just before I move forward, if you do want more videos on relationships and healthy communication, then feel free to subscribe to my channel for new videos every single week. The third approach is leaning into problems, and this is the power move, right? So leaning in is the bold choice. It means confronting problems head on, taking responsibility, and using each challenge as an opportunity for growth. So instead of avoiding or accepting the issues, you're choosing to face it, not with aggression, but with the mindset that this is a chance to deepen your connection and create lasting change within the relationship. But this is where a lot of people make the mistake. Because they've spent so much time avoiding or accepting the problems, they leave the leaning in too late. This means that they end up approaching the lean in with a lot of aggression, a lot of resentment that's built up. So they lean into the problems in the relationship, but they do it in such a forceful manner that the problem ends up getting worse. And this creates a cycle where you go through stages 1 and 2, eventually get to 3, but you overcompensate. And then things go back down to 1 and 2 again. And you go up and down, up and down. And this is why a relationship can be such a roller coaster, because you're going through the cycle of these 3 stages each time. So it's really important to understand that leaning in is the right approach in a relationship, but it looks very, very different to the way most people do it. So leaning in is about taking control of the situation. This is initiating tough conversations, but with a solution-oriented mindset, not shying away from the discomfort of 1 and 2. But this is also about leading collaboration. So this is engaging your partner in problem solving and creating a sense of teamwork instead of placing blame or avoiding conflict. But this is also about taking the responsibility for growth. So this is about seeing challenges as a chance to strengthen your relationship and push both of you forward for greater self-awareness and intimacy. This is why when it comes to repairing a relationship, it's crucial to have conversations about situations in the past and being able to take responsibility in order to get the relationship to the present. But this is where a lot of people stop. Leaning in to potential future relationship challenges is also crucial to get ahead of concerns and to also raise conversations about potential future problems as well. And when things are tough in the relationship, this actually takes a lot of skill. You know, this is what a lot of my members that I work with have found, is that they've come to me because they found themselves in this cycle where they've gone through 1, 2, and 3, and they've gone up and down. The relationship has felt really, really hopeless because they've constantly saw this cycle. But it's important to learn the right mindsets, the right skills, and the right tools to communicate through these problems and through these issues in order to get to the other side. And that's why a lot of my members have so much success, because they have the right mindsets in order to build these tools and skills as they go along. And their relationships are in a much stronger position than when they started. There are 3 main areas where relationship problems lie. This is emotional safety, intellectual intimacy, and goal synergy. And all 3 of these are crucial for building a healthy relationship. Oftentimes, there can be a scattershot to approaching conversations. So in order to be able to lean into these tough conversations, it's crucial to know which elements are damaged within the relationship and to know which are the root causes of the challenges you should lean into first. And this is why so many of my members have been so successful in repairing their relationships, is because they've had the step-by-step process to be able to direct their attention to what is important in the relationship, not the sort of surface level stuff that a lot of people get caught up in. And if you do want to join us, then join me on my free Relationship Bootcamp, where you'll learn the same steps and tools that all of my members have used to start turning their relationship around. Just click on the link in the description to grab your spot. So leaning into challenges is the only real solution. Leaning into these problems is about leadership, it's about growth, and it's about collaboration. This is the path that requires a lot of courage and a lot of vulnerability, but it also yields the strongest results, right? The most resilient relationships. By leaning into these problems, you are taking action. You're not waiting for problems to worsen. You're actually using them as a launch pad for greater connection and shared growth. And this is what the strongest relationships have. And this requires a different mindset. So I've actually spoken about this in the video before, but learning how to manage your emotions is one of the most crucial elements of relationships. So I'm going to leave you with that video, and I'll see you over there. And